Hello everyone and welcome back to YK Reviews. This video is going to be about Thor Love and Thunder. Recently just came out last week and this is my thoughts and my take on it. And just to warn, this is going to be a spoiler review as it says in the title, so you have been warned. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go check out the movie and then come back to the video and let me know what you have thought about it. So this is going to be my take on it. And with Thor Love and Thunder, I had high expectations for this movie. This is one of the movies, along with like the Doctor Strange movie and, as you know, the Black Phone movie. I was highly anticipating this movie. I'm very excited for this movie, and I'll start off with the positives about this movie here, because I'll be honest, there's more negative than positive when it comes to this movie, basically. Now, from the trailers, like, I could tell that like it was going to be vibrant, colorful, like similar to a Thor Ragnarok. Now, with the new director that came in for the Thor Ragnarok movie, Taika Waititi. Sorry if I'm like butchering the name. It was similar. Like, if you enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, you will have similar feelings when it comes to Thor Love and Thunder, when it comes to the visuals, when it comes to like the screen presence, when it comes to like the color and the effects, everything that was used like in the movie. It was stunning and it was visually amazing to look at. That's a good part of the movie. And another good part about the movie too is when it comes to like the storytelling. You have Gorr the God Butcher in this movie, played by Christian Bale, who, by the way, nailed it, as he does with his roles when he's determined and he's excited for the role. He kills it in the role, and I was so excited to see him play Gorr the God Butcher. But the problem is, and this will most likely go towards the negatives, because when it comes to Gorr, the movie came in around just under 2 hours. Maybe an hour 57, an hour 59, give or take. So there wasn't enough time for Gorr's storyline to be fleshed out. He was in the movie, but he wasn't as in the movie as much as I wanted him to be in the movie. Now, he's called Gorr the God Butcher, and right off the bat, when it starts off with him and his daughter, and then how his daughter passed away and he went to go see the gods, and he realized that the gods let him down, laughed in his face, and so he realized that he can't rely on the gods, and that's when he got the Necro Sword and killed the god. But then from there wasn't much of God butchering. Like, you didn't see any scenes afterwards of him killing the gods. There was a few montages that appeared on the screen in the Guardians of the Galaxy's ship, but then that was about it. You didn't see him kill any gods. You didn't see him. Now, there was a lot of speculation that he's gonna mistake the Matt Damon's Loki and Luke Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth's brother, in the play, when behind the scenes footages of them like recording like the play and all that kind of stuff. There was speculation, he's gonna be killing the fake Loki and fake Thor, but there was none of that. There was no killing of like any of the major gods. The only scene that showed was when Thor and Korg went to that planet and they saw the big god where Sif was. That was pretty much it. But like, that's what disappointed me a lot, is that there wasn't enough scenes with Gorr. There wasn't enough scenes about his storyline and what he was doing out there. And then once you saw how he became Gorr the God Butcher and how he got the Necro Swords, it went into this Korg doing a monologue of like Thor, what he's been up to since Endgame, and with Endgame how he lost all the weight, and a lot of that was played for comedy. And that's what a lot of negativity is coming from the movie, is that it was turned into a comedy movie. The scenes with the Guardians, and this is putting it out there too, everything you saw in the trailer when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy is what we saw in the movie. They barely featured, and when they did, it was more for a comedy effect. It was more for like Thor to pump himself up, like the scene where he was meditating and the Guardians would ask him, Thor, we need your help, and then he would go and help them and save the day. But that was pretty much it. And then them saying goodbye to Thor, pretty much with Chris Pratt's character, the long handshake and all that stuff. But that was pretty much it. And I wasn't expecting huge scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I was expecting some scenes, a bit more scenes, not just like, they felt like side characters to Thor. And then Thor, the whole comedy act of like him killing like the aliens, him doing the split kicks on the two ships, him destroying this monumental city, it was just always just for comedy. And then when it comes to the goats, and that was a lot of my problem with the Thor movie, was they have these screaming goats in the movie, and the goats, yes, it was funny at first when they were on the ship, the Guardians of the Galaxy ship, and screaming. Okay, yeah, it got a chuckle out of me, and it was funny. But then throughout the whole movie, every single time these goats were on the scene, it was just them screaming, yelling, and it was played out so much. And that's what a lot of this movie is. It's just scenes being played out. The comedy of the movie was just, it was non-stop, and it bugged me a lot about it, because I wanted a more serious tone, especially when you have the villain as being Gore the God Butcher. I wanted a more serious tone, but everything was just played for a laugh. Even when Sif, she was like, she thought she was dying, Thor tells her like her arm was cut off, and Thor tells her, oh, your arm is in Valhalla, when like, and then she's like, oh, okay. Like, there wasn't any seriousness to that scene. It was just comedy. There was punchline after punchline after punchline. And when it comes to like other characters, like Zeus, for example, Zeus was played for comedy. Zeus wasn't taken serious. It was a punchline. When it comes to like Asgard, it was just played as like a comedy. It was played as like a tourist attraction, which wasn't the direction I wanted it to go. Even with Thor and the Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, this whole like jealousy between the two of them, it was funny at first, but then throughout the whole movie they just kept playing Stormbreaker's jealousy with Mjolnir, Stormbreaker's jealousy, and acting out with Thor. Even one particular scene, Stormbreaker crashing into like monuments in New Asgard with Thor, just out of pure jealousy. And that's what it just felt like. That's all there is to it, just comedy after comedy after comedy. The only another good thing I would say about the movie was Jane Foster's character arc, and when she becomes female Thor. Now that storyline was fleshed out well, she getting cancer and then finding the hammer to thinking that's going to cure her. That was played well. The direction went really well. I was so worried that they were going to make a joke out of the cancer and that it was just going to be made for comedy, but it genuinely was fleshed out well. It was genuinely a heartfelt moment between Thor finding out about Jane's cancer, Thor preventing her from going to like battle, and not wanting her to lift the hammer anymore because it is killing her. And that was really well done. However, when it comes to Thor and Jane's relationship, again, it was played for comedy. They showed why they broke up, showing Thor living with Jane, living together, and then it playing like as a comedy, like fighting over like not washing the dishes, even though there's only 2 dishes, and just one leaving and then the other staying behind, and then vice versa. So that was just more played for comedy as well. And it basically made Thor play as like a goof throughout the movie, even when he, during the flashbacks, spoke to the hammer, spoke to Mjolnir, and saying like to protect Jane, inadvertently giving her the ability to lift the hammer, making her worthy. But it was kind of played as if he didn't know what he was doing, he's a goof, and he felt like that throughout the whole movie, that he's just this big dumb goof that doesn't know what he's doing half the time, or that he's not as strong as like he should be, or he's not like intelligent as he should be, even given what he's going through. And on one hand, I can kind of understand where the joke's like coming from, because he's been through so much. He's lost he's lost his mother, he's lost his father, he lost his sister, lost his brother, lost his homeworld, so he's deflecting basically. But when it's throughout the whole movie, then you kind of feel like, okay, this is just too much of a comedy. And even in the series, like when it comes to like the scene with Zeus throwing a bolt of lightning at Korg, essentially thinking like he's dead, turns out he's still alive. Thor killing Zeus, but as you know in the post-credit scene, it turns out he's alive. Sif, is her death, she didn't really die, her arm just got cut off basically. The black and white scene with Valkyrie, Jane and Thor, which I thought was visually stunning too. Like, I really like that combination of the black and white and the fight scene. Valkyrie gets stabbed, but she survives. So all these death scenes didn't really feel like any death scenes, because none of them actually died. It was like they get stabbed and they just come back to life like nothing happened. So none of it felt like powerful. None of these scenes were like as strong as they should be. And Gorr kidnapping the children to lure Thor into coming and like using his using the Stormbreaker to like open the Bifrost. I liked the aspect of like the kids. Like, I liked Heimdall's son being in the movie and like using the powers to help contact Thor. I liked that. I really enjoyed that part of the movie. But then once again, comedy was like thrown into that. There wasn't much serious tone when it comes to that. Thor playing as a joke to the kids. It just, the only good serious scene with the kids was when Gorr was like messing with the kids. That is what I wanted to see more of, but there wasn't much of that. And so then it comes to like, with the storyline moving forward, like they go to Zeus, they supposedly kill Zeus even though he doesn't die. They get the lightning bolt, they leave and they go find Gorr. The whole black and white scene, which I like touched upon, and then Gorr finally gets Stormbreaker and leaves, so they go back to Earth. And then towards the end, Valkyrie goes to Thor like, oh no, like I've been stabbed, you go. And so he goes to fight Gorr, and then he suddenly has this ability now to give people his Thor powers. So he gives it to all the kids, which I thought, I honestly didn't like that, because you have all these kids running around with weapons. Like one scene with a kid with a bunny shooting lasers out the eyes. It didn't feel earned. And then the fight scene, there wasn't enough of these big fight scenes. And then when it, like for example in Thor Ragnarok, you had like the fight scene where Thor gained, like he had the flashback with his dad telling him he's not the god of hammers, he's the god of thunder, and then that big fight scene along. But this one, it was so like, it was underwhelming to say the least, I would say, with that battle. But then, and they open up the gate and he goes to the place, Gorr goes to the place where he can grant him one wish, and Thor and Jane, as Jane like in the movie also comes back, ignores Thor's warning about the hammer to help him, and so she's pretty much like dying because of the whole hammer like preventing the chemo to work and everything like that. So essentially Jane and Thor basically are convincing Gorr not to use his wish to kill all the gods, but actually wish for his daughter to come back. But then it's because of the lack of scenes with Gorr, and because of all of that, it kind of was like, don't worry, like Gorr saying that he's going to die, so he's not going to be able to be with his daughter, and then Thor and Jane saying, yeah, we'll look after her, don't worry. It kind of is like, okay, well, none of that like led up to it. There was no indication that was what was going to lead up to it. So then once the ending comes and like Gorr eventually dies, Jane dies and goes to Valhalla, you have Thor now becoming a dad looking after this kid, when in the movie there was no indication about Thor wanting to be a dad, or any indication that this is where it's going to lead to. So now he's with this child who is actually his daughter in real life. He's looking after her, and she's got the power to wield Mjolnir, he's got the power to wield Stormbreaker. So now Korg, as a voiceover, was calling them Love and Thunder. And so it kind of just, I don't know, the movie was very, very underwhelming. It was very, the direction that they went with Thor wasn't what I was expecting, but also I felt like wasn't as great now that he's going to be going off like fighting battles with this little girl, and looks like Korg is now like creating a mini version of himself with like another rock, where they played that out earlier on in the movie. It didn't blow me away. It got a few chuckles out of me, yeah, but most of the movie I wasn't bored, but it was entertaining. But I was very disappointed with like some of the scenes, because you have Gorr the God Butcher looking to like kill all the gods, Jane and her cancer storyline, then you have goats screaming, Thor making jokes with every little scene that he's in. And it's just, I'm genuinely worried about the direction of the MCU, because with Phase 4, the movies that have come out with Phase 4, some of them have been okay, some of them have been good, but the only one that springs to mind is Spider-Man No Way Home, which blew me away and was hands down probably the best movie of Phase 4 so far. But none of the other movies have just completely blown me away. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness too, it was a good movie, but similar to like with Gorr the God Butcher, there wasn't enough multiverse of madness. There wasn't enough exploration of multiverses. So it was in that aspect that disappointed me. And it's with the Phase 4 movies, they're either like okay, good, or underwhelming. And I'm just hoping that Phase 4 starts picking up, Phase 5 starts picking up, so that it does become like as good. Maybe it is also because of the issue that they're pumping out too many movies in 1 year. Like Phase 1, 2, 3, it was 2, maybe 3 movies per year, but now it's more quality, like Marvel shows, Marvel movies all coming continuously. So the quality is lacking slightly. I don't know, but I'm really, really hoping that like Phase 4 does start picking up and like it does start getting better, because for me as an MCU fan, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love everything about Marvel, but I'm just worried about the future of it. I really hope like the movies and the shows really start to like pick up in terms of like quality. Not that it's like below par quality, but it's a lot of Phase 4 has just left me feeling disappointed and underwhelmed, to be honest. But this is my spoiler review for Thor Love and Thunder. I definitely would highly recommend for you guys to check it out, though. You will be entertained. A lot of you might be left disappointed, a lot of you might be left frustrated with like the whole comedy aspect of it, but you will be entertained, especially with the visuals and especially with like the storyline with Gorr the God Butcher. It will entertain you in terms of that. But if you have seen the movie, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you again so much for watching. Take care.